G'day. So in my video yesterday where I rode the newly refurbished yellow bike, the 98, I talked about these levers being corroded. So these are the original levers off the bike, OEMs. The brake lever was worse than the clutch lever, but you can see I have cleaned these with Alu Bright. I mentioned that yesterday. I think it's Alu Bright. Let's see. No, it's called Blitz Aluminium Cleaner. So I'm not sure if the camera picks it up, but you can see the aftermath of the corrosion on the aluminium. So this one I've just had in my cabinet and blasted with glass bead, which is very mild, and it's actually got quite a nice finish on it. I was going to polish it up. I might still polish it on the wheel, just to see how it comes up. But you can see the difference between the polished alloy. You know, this is the other part of the lever. And I've got to clean up these too, because these are a bit crappy. You know, that sits in there and takes the adjuster. And these are a bit ordinary. I might blast these and I don't know, maybe put them in and zinc coat them, then black zinc them. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. Anyway, just thought I'd give you a bit of a comparison. Okay, this is my sandblasting cabinet. I'm just in the middle of doing the which one's that? The clutch lever, I think. I've only got a 200 litre per minute compressor, so I can't run it too hard. Now this is my zinc setup. This is from Jane Plating in Australia. I've had hit and miss with this, you know. I was never great at chemistry. I've finished just doing one set, well, nearly. This is, well, 7 seconds left on my timer, so I'll just show you. It's I've got one piece in the dismiss that, one piece in the black zinc at the moment. It's been in there for 1 minute. You give it a rinse, and then this is the Aqualac, which sort of sets it, I think. So you just put that in there for 10 seconds. Now I'll blow it off with air too, just gently. I won't be able to see this because I haven't got too many hands. If you don't blow it off with the air, it sort of when it dries, it's a bit crappy, the finish. So you can see that's not quite dry on that side. I'll just put the camera down so I can dry that. You got to leave these for a few days. There's a little bit of a colour rainbow coming through there. And you've got to leave those for a few days to sort of set. Now I've got the little spring here as well that goes into the lever. So they come out of the part, this is the zinc bath, so they come out of the zinc bath, and originally I had some come out really bright zinc. I do have a zinc brightener, so I just rinse them in demineralised water, and this is a it's a pre-dip for the passivating. So you put them in here. I've just got my instructions written on the lids of these things. Yeah, so originally I had some parts come out really bright zinc, and then they just sort of started coming out grey. but when you run them through this Metax IT solution, they brighten up. But I've tried adjusting the ratios of the solution there, and there is a zinc brightener that you get, but it's you're supposed to be very, very delicate with it, or careful not to use too much. So now I'm just going to sit that in the solution for a minute. I'm only doing one at a time at the moment because I haven't done this for a couple of months, and I've just got that's the screw that's left, the adjuster screw. So I'll just show you what this is looking like. This lever. So this side's yet to be done, just there, you can still see it's shiny, but I've done that side. And I just use an ice cream container in here, some holes bead on the bottom, so the glass bead can go through. And with this setup, I just put it on some casters so I can move it around, put it on a bit of board. And I bought this cyclone thing from Chinese eBay, from Temu. Just that. And just hooked up the vacuum to it. You can see it's nice and black now. I'll just blow that off. Sort of gets a funny film on it, like a slime, if you don't blow it off. But it's hard to see. Looks pretty good. This is my cheat sheet, so I've got a heap of different, bolts, flange nuts, washers, screws, and I've just worked out, you got to work out what the cubic centimetre of each thing is, and then you multiply it by 0.00625, and it gives you the amps that you need to use to coat that particular part. And obviously the more parts you put in, you add all the amps together, and you adjust the amps on your power supply when you're doing your coating. So now I'll just get the last one out. So you can see it's quite grey. I'll see how it looks after it's been in here for 30 seconds. 30 seconds. So you now see it's silver. Looks a lot better. Just give it a rinse in demineralised water, and then I'll just plonk it straight into this black zinc coating, and I'll time it for a minute. So just going through that process, I've got, this is for the next side, I'm just doing one side at a time. So I'm just to clean these, you can see a little bit of rust on the top of that. Just clean these off in the sandblaster, and I'll just recoat everything, re-zinc everything, turn out new, and then put it all back together, and I'll replace the levers on that bike. Happy days. So there's the cleaned parts. And what I do with those now, if there's any crusty rust or anything like that, put them into this, which is an acidic solution, but I won't be putting them in there, so I'll just give them a rinse. This is just plain water. Just give them a rinse in there, and then this is a product sold by Joan Plating, and it's their parts wash. and then it goes into the metal activator, then it goes through 2 bars of demineralized water, then I'll put them onto the cathode. So I'll put them in there, I'll set the amps and turn it on, and I'll leave it on for 45 minutes. Happy days. So they came out pretty well, I reckon. And the zinc coating obviously is to resist corrosion, and then the black passivate on top of that is just another added layer. So whenever I finish blasting anything that's got a thread, like these have a little thread in there, it's an M5 by 0.8 thread, I always chase them with a tap so as it'll thread in nicely. Otherwise you get the little tiny glass bead stuck in the threads, and you don't want that in there. So I'm just putting these back together temporarily so as I can you know, just keep them together while I wait for the other parts to cure. Incidentally, to get these apart, you need to knock out, well, you don't knock it out, but you just push and you knock the brass bush through slightly. G'day trendsetters, this is just a follow-up to my little video on the levers. So I've sandblasted those with the glass bead. I've zinc plated the hardware that mounts, you know, in here for both of them. So that came up pretty good, I reckon. Bit hard to see on there. So I'm just going to put these back together and they'll be ready to go back on the bike. Right, so when I removed these, I had to punch the brass I had to punch that through a little bit. You have to punch it through to be able to get this part of the lever on. It's like a little sleeve, whatever. So now I'm just going to put them back in, and I'm just going to draw them in with a little 6mm bolt. So, because I don't want to damage anything, so that'll just be a simple case of pulling that brass sleeve back into the lever. I initially tried to pull them apart without punching that sleeve out, and all I was going to do was damage the levers, so I stopped that. It's the same principle as, you know, drawing in your bearings into your swing arm. Beautiful. So these are ready to go. Put back on the bike. Just do this one and then I'm done.